So hello everyone and welcome back. It's lovely to have you all back. Hope you had a good weekend. And let's start by going straight into the superpower. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever works for you. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that, by repeating your word or phrase or using your anchor, or by imagining holding your subject in your arms in a hug, however you normally do that. And start to feel your heart opening, that physical expansion feeling in your chest. Feel your heart opening and feeling that light, that energy shining out from your heart. Very good. And now imagine that light or energy spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Now I want you to send that light or energy specifically to any part of your body that doesn't feel perfect, that doesn't feel as you'd like it to feel, or that you're worried about. Fill that part of your body particularly with this light, this energy, and love that part of your body exactly as it is, shining the light into any darkness. Love it all anyway, no matter what. Very, very good. And now think of yourself as a child, any age, and fill that little you with that same light, that energy. Love that little you just for existing, exactly as they are. And imagine that beautiful light, that energy, that power shining out from that little you, overflowing from that little you and filling your whole childhood. Shining light into any darkness, loving everything and everyone anyway, no matter what. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from you and fill everyone in this group, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to the fingertips. Love each one just for existing. Very, very good. Good job. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. Okay, so I'm going to check in with each person to find out how you're doing, how the weekend was for you, if you have any questions, and if you have any targets to add to the list. If you're new on the call, just to let you know how this works, if you're on camera, I'll come round to you and ask you if you'd like to speak. And of course, you don't have to speak if you don't want to. You can just say pass. If you are not on camera, I won't come round to you and ask you specifically in case you want to be incognito. But if you would like to speak, you can just unmute yourself, or you can put it in the chat. If you put any comments or questions in the chat, I won't use your name unless you let me know that I can, so that if you want to if you want to remain incognito, you can. Those who've said I can use their name in the past, I will use your name. But if you don't want me to for today, for some reason, of course, just let me know. All right. So let's go around and find out how you're all doing. So Tina. Hi, Tina. How are you today?
Good morning. Much better than last week. I
Oh,
feel
good.
much better, more light and flowing. I don't know.
Excellent. Good job.
Um, I think, yeah, I was just talking with Steve this morning because when I am in the superpower state, and sometimes when I send love like to my kids, there is like memories pop up, and I start to feel that negative emotions, and
Right.
I'm just kind of like I don't want to send them the bad emotions. I want the good ones. So it's like I'm a little bit I don't know what to do in the moment. So
Okay. All
as I
right.
just step out and maybe I start again.
Okay. So first of all, well done for doing that. And yes, you can absolutely step out and start again. What you might want to try is loving those memories. So,
Yeah, I was sending the love to whatever is like, but it was like so much, like start to panic, and I just okay, I have to.
okay. All right. Yes. Then it's time. Then it's like, oh, you're going too fast on the bicycle. You need to stop.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So then you're doing the right thing. Just stop and start again. And then when you keep doing that, keep sending love to whatever comes up. And when it gets too much, too overwhelming, just stop, start again, and see it as going too fast on the bike. And you just need to slow down because you're not, you haven't got the skill yet to keep up with that speed. So
Yes.
very good. Well done, Tina. I'm very, very proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You're a
Thank you.
fabulous example.
Oh,
And you look gorgeous today as well.
oh, thank you. I feel better, so maybe that's why.
I think so. All right. So thank you for sharing them. And Chris, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
We continue our heat wave.
Oh, yes.
And it's a bank holiday.
Oh, very good. It is here too.
So, yeah, I noticed that. Well, very good. When I catch myself overthinking, I do what you just said. I'll just stop and send love.
Very
just
good.
love. That's just the only thing to do.
Yes.
And then gradually it unravels.
Yes.
Yeah. And I had a lovely day just sending Superpower to me.
Good.
Wow, it was, I said, like a spa. That's just, yeah. Should actually do that probably every day.
Absolutely. That's perfect because that is, we can't give what we don't have. So filling yourself is the top priority, even if you never send it to anyone else. It'll still change your life, even just filling yourself with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Good job. Do you have any targets for today or any questions?
Oh, yeah, just the thing that really almost did a big flip in my mind last week when I go for my run or my walk and I think, I'll do my thankfulness and, the river, the trees, da, 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 da. And so I thought, I might just be thankful for the litter and the dog poo and all the other things that annoy me. And that took me to a whole new plane of understanding of what this is all about.
Exactly.
I love everything, haven't I? In fact, I got more from thanking what wasn't working, what's not right, what's not good. Good moment.
That's it. That's perfect, Chris. And, I remember, it reminds me now when I was still living in Gloucester in the UK and I was practicing this, I would go for a walk or a run around the neighborhood. And I remember specifically seeing, litter and making that decision to send love to the litter, love it all anyway, exactly as it is. The litter, the people who put it there, the whole lot. And I remember that leveling up at that point. And so I started looking for things that were so-called wrong or bad or that I didn't like and aiming at them. So well done. Thank you for reminding me about that. That's a great example of a target. Very good. Thank you, Chris. And love your hat, your headdress. All right. And Lisa, how are you today?
Oh, very well. Thank you. I just love this class. I love watching everybody be so enriched and have their successes and be in that love state and doing everything. It's just like icing on the whole cake, the unicorn cake. So what I noticed is that I've been seeing like the leaves and the stars and everything and turn into hearts. So, and then having a shower, you know, with that, all that loving energy and just being in a really wonderful bliss state. It's amazing. Just like instead of looking at something and go, oh, I'm looking at something going, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it has changed everything in all aspects of life. So, because you could just, it's so easy to just flip it just like that, you know, in an instant. And that's the power, that's the superpower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so grateful that you hold this for this. It's like a holy presence, you know, for all of us. You know what I mean? So I'm enjoying myself. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. You contribute so much with your presence as well.
Thank you.
Very, very much. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
All right. And then Katrina, how are you today?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I had a lovely, easy weekend, and then today, this morning, I listened to the song that you posted on Facebook.
Which one? Oh, the Victoria Wood one?
Victoria Wood, sorry.
Yes.
Yes, Victoria Wood. And I could not get into her fun-loving state, and I just, oh my goodness. So we followed that, and so we went searching, and I'm probably doing this backwards, but anyway, I came up with 2 programs that's running something else, but there was 2 things that I wasn't able to laugh about, which was boarding school. We were standing up for prayers, and the guy behind me, you know, pulled the chair out, and wow. So I fell to the floor and banged my head, and everyone laughed, and so to me it wasn't funny.
Yes.
Okay, so that was one. And then at pony camp, a boy fancied me, and what fancied me, but so I felt safe. There was a water fight between boys and girls, and but he came from behind me and threw a bucket of water.
Wow.
Over me. This is the guy that's supposed to, you know, fancy you, like you. This is what they do, and I didn't find it funny.
Yeah.
So today I didn't find anything funny.
And quite understandably. Understandably. So so those are 2 powerful emotional experiences. So tell me, in boarding school, how old were you when with the chair incident?
11.
11. Okay. And then the bucket of water incident, how old were you then?
I don't know, maybe 14, 15, around that.
So it was after. All right. So let's go to the school with the chair incident. What's the worst thing about that?
Well, there's probably lots of things. I don't know. Well, the shock.
The shock. Very good.
Was one.
And what did it mean to you at the time? So he pulls the chair out from under you, and you fell and hit your head, and what did that mean to you at the time?
Probably this thing going back to you know, not special, not important, because if you liked me, you wouldn't do.
Right.
I don't know what his thinking was. Yes. It didn't happen to anybody else. There was 30, and it was mixed boys and girls.
Right.
And I had just moved into that class. And so this was my first experience, maybe the second day of being in this class.
That's it. Okay. So let's take that experience. So it's obviously brought up quite a lot of emotion. And so any idea what the emotion is connected to? What's triggering that specific emotion, that specific intensity of emotion?
No, but I have been working on this all day, and it's, there's a lot of other stuff running in the background.
Right.
So this was the last thing. I kept working back.
Yes.
So this is the earliest memory of, guys, boys not making me. You come back to the romantic films, and the guy's supposed to look after you and love you and protect you, and all my experiences the opposite. Yeah.
Okay, so now, any early memories of your dad or your brothers? Any early bad memories of them before the chair incident? Before 11 years old, in other words.
Well, there was a memory, but this was working on my brother, the oldest one that I don't like. When we had us dressed to go out, and we must have been fighting over a toy or something, and he pulls the thing off me, whatever, but I go back and hit my head. So instead of going to the
there it is.
Is it? We had to go to the hospital instead of going to the party or whatever. Yeah.
And you fell back and hurt your head in school as well.
Yeah, and I had another experience of being hit in the back of the head with a big stone.
When was that? What age?
Don't know, 16, 17.
Okay, so later on. So let's go to that one, the very earliest one, where your brother took the toy off you and you fell back and hit your head. You got that one?
I just remember Mummy making a fuss, getting so annoyed that she had us all dressed, and so there was no really, I didn't feel any pain or something. She was making all the commotion, and this is what we had to do. So there's no, there's no sort of, I hate you, brother, type thing in that moment.
That's okay. But was it expected that your mum would react that way? Or was it a shock?
No, I think she was shocked that she went upstairs to finish off, and then she came down to the screaming and the...
Okay. And when you fell back, was that a shock? When he took the toy and you fell back and you hit your head? Okay. So, can you change that memory now? To number one, he never took the toy. He didn't want the toy. He didn't take the toy. And can you put a trampoline under you when you fell backwards so that you fell back and bounced back again and it was fun?
Okay.
So you were all on the trampoline, including your mum, and you're just having fun.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Okay, yeah.
Good job. All right. So practice that new memory several times. Then you can move forward and change the memory in school with the chair. All right. And what I would do is a stepping stone memory there, where he pulls the chair and you turn around, you catch him, and you're, nice try. Right. And everybody laughs at him because you caught him. Stepping stone. And then the final memory where he doesn't, perhaps he puts a chair for you to sit down.
I actually tried that. I've worked on this before, and but obviously.
So the reason it wouldn't change, the reason you weren't able to change it, I suspect, is because of that earlier memory. Because when that happened in school, it wasn't just the shock of that. It wasn't just them laughing or you hitting your head. It was that your subconscious remembered the earlier memory as well. And your mum being upset. And then put all of that together and created those chemicals and made a big soup out of it all.
Goodness.
Does that make sense? So you change that earlier memory first, so that that reference is changed, and then change the one in school. So stepping stone, where you turn, you catch him. And I think that stepping stone is important as well. I think it's important to do that one, then practice it 3 times, and then change it where he's actually doing something nice for you. And you still get a surprise because it's unexpected, but it's a lovely surprise, something nice. He gives you flowers, he puts the chair there for you, or whatever that little you would have loved.
Okay.
Okay. And
Katrina,
then change the other one as well.
I just wanted to also ask about the information from that first memory. Can you see it now or envision it now so that you and your brother are not tussling over that toy? Can you envision it so that he's actually giving you the toy, or you're not fighting over the toy, or you have 2 of the same thing?
You see, it was my mum who told the story. I have really no.
And that's good. So just imagine the whole scene differently, and then imagine your mother telling you that story. You know, the 2 of you always played so well together.
Well,
you know,
sorry, I was going to say I was told that he was jealous. He was the first boy of the clan.
Yeah.
And then when I came along, so he got all the attention, and I came along, and then attention away.
Good. So you may even want to back it up and rewrite that story, and rewrite it so that he is not the jealous one. He was the big brother, he was the provider, and he was so excited to have a little sister, and you were the little princess that showed up, and every day you were like the buddies. There you go. That's it. So take it back. If you have to, take it back and see him as an infant, and just rewrite his story so that he's that little knight in shining armor that was always there for you.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Good job.
All right. And then just one more thing is Charmaine. Did Charmaine ever use roller skates at all?
Oh.
She could. She could have, right?
Okay.
All right. All right, sweetheart. Good job. Well
thanks,
done,
Mary.
Katrina.
Thank
Thank you for sharing it. Good. All right. And then Swasti, so Swasti has asked, I just had some random questions today. I get quite anxious sometimes. This comes from a memory of having too much to do academically when I was young. How do I go about changing that? And then also, can I just ask for some guidance on practicing new childhood memories, and also discuss some dreams I had when I started changing childhood memories? Okay, very good. So Swasti, I'm going to unmute you so I can ask you questions. All right, so let's start. Hello, sweetheart. Let's start with your first question. So you get anxious sometimes, and the memory of having too much to do academically when you were young, how do you go about changing that? So first of all, the first question is, how do you know that you had too much to do academically when you were young? What's there? What references or memories are there?
So when I was used to come home from school at 2 o'clock, and then I had until 2 to 8 o'clock to do school homework, go to tuition homework, eat, play, and then also prepare for some like random things in school, like the school production or something.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember that.
Okay, so what we're aiming for, the end result we're aiming for, is that you never had to do any homework. All right, so what we might want to do is a stepping stone memory, where you come home and, so did anyone help you with your homework, or were you on your own for all of that? I mean, I know you had the tutor, but the rest of it?
I think my auntie helped me for, let's say, half of it. But I would do the other half.
All right. So what we want to do is we want to create new memories where you come home, or your parents, both your parents pick you up from school together, And perhaps you go somewhere after school. So, you might go out for ice cream, or you might go to the park, or depending on what age you were, do something fun. Then you come home and both your parents help you with your homework. They're there with you. It's a connection feeling. You have fun. They get things wrong and they laugh, and you don't have to know all the details, but just that feeling of connection and support, and the three of you are working together. So that's a stepping stone. Then the final memory you want to aim for is that the homework just doesn't exist. There is no such thing as homework, right? So you're in school, you do your bit, you're very successful in school. Everything's very easy for you. You're top of the class. Your parents are proud of you, but they make it very clear that they love you and are proud of you no matter what, just for you, because they love you. And you don't have to actually do anything. And then you get home, when you get home in the evenings, it's all about playing. You're playing, they're playing with you, you're playing games, you do activities, you watch movies, whatever that little you would have loved. Perhaps you have a pet. Just add whatever that little you can add a pony like Katrina had. Why not, right? And so that's what you're aiming at. That's what you're aiming for. That's the end result. So now you're going to do whatever it takes to do that. So the way you do that is go to the memory of, one of the memories of having from 2 till 8 to get all of that done, however you know that, and have that one memory to represent all of it. Notice how it feels. Notice any negative emotions. Back to the superpower, back and forth, until there's no emotions there. You just know it happened, and then change it to the stepping stone, and then to the final memory. Does that make sense?
So getting into the superpower is the stepping stone?
No, getting into the superpower will help you bring the emotions down, right?
Okay.
And the stepping stone, so the stepping stone memory is where your parents pick you up from school. Perhaps you go and do something fun, and you're all doing homework together. So the stepping stone part of that really is that your parents did homework with you. You all did it together. And then the final memory is homework doesn't exist.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Does that sound good? Does that help?
Yeah, that sounds good. I will work on that. Thank
Good
you.
job. All right. You're very welcome. And then the next question you had was practicing childhood memories. So when you say some guidance on it, what sort of guidance, what's happening now when you start to practice them?
I'm not having any issues actually changing them, but just practicing the new ones.
Okay.
So I don't know how many times to practice one specific one, and like how I should really go about it, because I need to visualize things. I know that.
Really, very good. Okay. So when you first change it, just play it through 3 times in a row first. And by play it through, I mean like a movie. So like you would watch a little clip on YouTube or TikTok, whatever, just play it through like that. And it more like TikTok than YouTube, because it doesn't need to be long. It's just a quick basic thing that you can make it longer if you like, but it doesn't have to be long. So an example of mine is, I'm trying to think of one I haven't used already, but I'll use one I've used before. So, it's my mum saying to me, instead of saying, "Don't be so stupid, Odille," she's now saying, "I'm so proud of you. You're perfect exactly as you are. Well done. I love you." And that's it. That's the memory. And then I do that 3 times when I first changed it. And then as for ongoing, do it as many times as you would to learn a new phone number. In other words, until it's the first thing that comes to your mind. So when you change the homework thing, for example, so the stepping stone one, you only need to do 3 times in a row, and then move on to the final memory. And that one you'll do 3 times in a row. And then it's that final memory of homework doesn't exist, and you always got home, and whenever you got home, you all played and all of that. And pick a scene that can represent that. So however that's represented in your mind, and you play that through until when you think of homework, that's all that comes to mind. Or when you think of academic work, all that comes to mind is you all having fun.
Okay.
And then you've practiced it enough.
So do I need to practice this? So I take this one memory and practice it the whole day, or should I do it every day for 7 days?
It depends on the individual. So it's going to, when you get a new phone number, how do you learn the phone number?
Just repeating it again and again,
That's
and then
it.
testing myself throughout the day.
There you go. Then do that with the memory,
Okay.
with the new memory. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Very good. So do exactly, and that for everybody else, however you would learn a new phone number or a new address or whatever it is, do the same with your memories, with the new memories. All right, good job, Swasti. Anything else? Oh, your dreams you wanted to talk about. Yeah.
So I changed my cousin who I was used to live with when I was young.
Yes.
And then I had a dream about him leaving me.
Oh.
And I woke up crying so much.
Ah.
And I don't know if that means anything.
Okay. Okay, so with dreams, and when you start doing this kind of work, most people find that they have more dreams or more intense dreams or more weird dreams and that kind of thing. Now, not a lot is known in neuroscience about dreaming, but from the bits of information I have, the little bit of knowledge I have, from my point of view, what dreaming is it's the conscious mind's interpretation of what the subconscious has been doing during the night. So as you wake up, your subconscious has this information and of neurons changing, so new neural networks forming, whatever's going on with the organs, the cells. So all this stuff has been happening during the night, creating visuals and feeling, there's chemicals going on. And as you wake up, your conscious mind gives meaning to it. And a lot of that is data that's been stored in various parts of your brain, including things that have happened to you that day, things you heard about that day or learned that day, and then your subconscious sorts it out during the night, goes, okay, this is important, that's not important, I'll store this here, I'll put that there, and organizes it. And so that is then what you're dreaming is based on just whatever's going on physiologically. So dreaming that your cousin left you could be because you changed the memory. It could just be as your subconscious was changing that information, that a piece of it felt like it was being let go of. So you were because you let go of the bad stuff. And so the dreaming could have just been that part going. So it doesn't mean he literally left. It could just be that you're letting go of a piece that you don't need anymore.
So it's a good indication.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So interesting.
It is, yes.
Okay.
All right. And then also, while we're on the subject of dreaming, for everybody else as well, you can change dreams just like you would change memories. If you have a bad dream, you can change it. When you wake up or you think of it during the day, just bring down any emotions if you need to, and then just change that to a fabulous one, because you might as well have good ones. All right. So thank you, Swasti, for bringing that up, because I know others will have that same question too.
Can I just ask another thing about just memories?
Of course.
So if anything happens to you in the day that you don't like,
yes,
that happened, and you want to change that,
yes,
I can change that quite easily in the night. Like before I go to sleep, I'll just replay it like 5 times. I can easily do that. Do you need to rehearse those as well later? Because I usually forget about them.
Yep. No, you don't need to. So things that happen now are all like branches and leaves of a tree. And as you change the roots, which is the childhood memories, then these change anyway. But you might as well change, what you're doing is perfect. And it's Neville Goddard calls it, what does he call it? I can't remember. Steve, can you?
Well, revising.
Revising, right.
Yeah.
So Neville Goddard calls it revising, and that is a fabulous thing to do when you go to bed. Revise the day to be as you would have liked it to have been, and that's perfect. And again, because the subconscious can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, it'll believe it. And then, and that's in addition to the childhood memories, but those you don't need to practice because they're just recent. They're just leaves and branches. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Swasti, and thank you so much for sharing all of that. That's really helpful and useful.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, so I think that's everybody who's on camera. So if you're not on camera, you can either unmute yourself or just put it in the text, in the chat rather, what you'd like to say or ask. So we've got some targets, which Steve, you've got the targets from the chat. Fantastic. And any questions from there? Just some nice comments. Very good. And Tina, yes.
I want to ask you, when I do this superpower, when I'm that stage, and like today came to my mind like good stuff, like I am wonderful, I am smart, I am this, and so many good stuff. Is this like more powerful for me, or like what is gonna happen when I practice things like that?
So what do you mean by what's going to happen? What?
Like, I know it's good stuff, but it's like, it's gonna make me more strong, or I don't know. It's like,
okay. Very good question. Very good question. And so when you think about the fact that everything we think of ourselves and we believe about ourselves is not just about how we feel, it's affecting our judgment and our actions and our decisions and our ability to choose and notice opportunities and all of that. So while we've got a belief of I'm not safe and I'm not worthy, for example, our ability to make choices that will get us to where we want to be is very limited, because as we go, oh, there's a good idea, and then we think, oh, I can't do that because I'm not good enough, or because it's dangerous, or nobody's going to want to speak to me, or, you know, they may hate me, or whatever those things are. So then we don't take that action. And very often we can't even see the options that would get us to our dreams because they don't fit in with the old limiting beliefs. So then you change it to I'm fabulous, I'm powerful, I'm wonderful, I'm clever. And then number one, you see things you didn't see before, you think of things you didn't think of before, and you're willing to take the action. And and part of that is that your prefrontal cortex is online.
So good. So it's like I'm building my future in the good way.
Exactly. Awesome. I'm so excited for you and so proud of you.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Yes, of course.
I don't know who was, Swasti was talking about dreams. Yeah, I had a last night dream. I'm just going to tell you one part. I lost my wallet. So what does that mean? It's like I lost something, I let it go, or something like that?
So it depends. So how did you feel in the dream when you lost your wallet? What was the feeling there?
I wasn't panicking or crying. It's just, I was looking for it. I have to have somewhere. Like, how did I lost? I have no idea. I just had it and I lost. Right. I wasn't like feeling bad. It was like, okay.
Okay, good. And so that's a good thing. So let's see, what does money, or what does your wallet rather represent to you?
Oh, there is everything, right? My social insurance number, and then I was thinking about drivers. I said, oh my God, my documents, my cards, like, I didn't think much about money, but those driver's license, the driver's license was more.
So, you know, we don't know what's going on in the subconscious. There's no way of telling, but one of the things that come to mind for me is identity, is changing your identity. You're changing your identity.
That's good, I think.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because you're changing from the old limited identity to the new identity.
That's good.
New empowered identity. So yes, I think it's a fantastic sign. Yes. And really, you know, for me, for everybody, I see all dreams as positive progress, because all dreams are about processing whatever's happening. We're always moving forward in some way or another. So I always see all dreams, no matter what they are, as progress. So I wake up, you know, Steve knows, I'll wake up in the morning and go, whoa, that was a busy night. And he'll go, oh, and I'll go, no, that's great.
I had a busy night last night. Yeah, there was much more going on. Whatever I was figure out. I mean, I'm working on myself with different stuff. I don't want to say, it's a long story, but yeah, that dream was
That's it.
all that new changes I'm planning to do, and I think progressing too.
Perfect. Yes. I'm so excited for you and so proud of you. Good job, Tina. And thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. And then you mentioned Goddard, and I have listened to his recordings. The concept of revising the past day and the visualizing the following day is very meaningful and fits well with this work. Yes, it does. And in fact, so we do recommend Neville Goddard. So anyone who doesn't know about him, do look him up. There's plenty of his stuff online and on YouTube, and there's audiobooks as well, so on Audible. And his stuff is very, very good and very much in alignment with what we teach. The one missing piece is that he doesn't do childhood stuff. So he doesn't specifically have that piece of the subconscious references are coming from childhood and changing the childhood memories. But everything else is well worth listening to hear it also from different perspective, in the way he explains it and that kind of thing. And we get things on different levels in different ways when we hear them from different sources. So we do encourage that. All right. So I think that was, there's a couple more here.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve. So I'd like my target to be my car insurance. I had a tiny, stupid accident yesterday, and it was probably more my fault. I hope my insurance won't cost more now. Thank you. Okay, so Steve's added that to the target list. And in addition to that, of course, we'll send love to it. But in addition to that, think of what's the worst case scenario. If it does cost more, what does that mean? What's the worst thing about it? How does it feel? Where in your childhood, and change that as well. All right, very good. We've got some more targets. When it comes to asking, how does that feel? When it comes to asking, how does that feel? Is it a physical feeling about it I'm looking for, or like a conscious assumption of how I feel about it, how I think it feels? So it could be either. So I'll give you an example. So it could be, I feel sad, or I feel upset, or I feel like I'm not allowed to do something. Or it could be, I feel pressure in my chest, or I feel a lump in my throat. Or it could be, I feel like I'm being held back. So it could be physical, it could be emotional. And if there's nothing like that, then yes, go for the your conscious assumption of how it feels. But look for the physiological feeling first. So whether that's an emotion or a physical feeling. And I'm kind of struggling there a bit because emotionals are physical, but we don't always experience them that way. So sadness or a pressure in my chest or something like that. And if you can't find that, then, just whatever comes to mind. As you think about that, maybe it's humiliation, but I'm not feeling humiliated now, but I remember that I did, or something like that. So I hope that answers your question. If not, just let me know, just ask for clarification on that. Let's see, what else have we got? Could you please say his name again of this resource? Yes, Neville Goddard. Oh, Lisa's typed it in there, so he's with the spelling. All right, and fantastic. Okay, so let's get on with the aiming and the targeting. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, or leave them open if you prefer, and go into your superpower state. And Steve, if you could send me the targets, please. Thank you. And however you get into it, by repeating a word or phrase, or using your anchor, or imagining hugging your subject. Feel your heart opening. Feel that physical expansion feeling in your heart. That beautiful light or energy shining out, and allowing it to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. And allow it to fill each of the cells of your body. Fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body with that same light, that energy. Love each cell just for existing and no matter what. Very good. And now fill your subject with that same light or energy. Loving them just for existing. And now imagine they don't want to be with you, or they're miserable, or whatever it is, and keep them filled with that light or energy anyway, no matter what. Love them just for existing. Very good. And now let's go over to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the whole room she's in. And everything and everyone in her life. Fill it all with that same light, that energy, that power, loving it all just for existing. Very, very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Swasti and fill her whole life, everything and everyone in her life with that same love, that light, that energy, shining light into any darkness, filling the anxiousness with light and energy, loving that anxiousness exactly as it is, even if it never changes. Feeling that power. Very, very good. And now over to Tina, filling Tina with that same light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head, out to her fingertips. Love Tina just for existing. And now allowing that light or energy to fill Tina's arm and knee pain, the pain in her arm and knee. Love it all anyway. Fill it with that light, those parts of her body with that light, that energy. Loving all the cells, loving the pain exactly as it is, shining light into the darkness, even if it never changes. Very good. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. Allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill everything and everyone in her life with that same light, that energy, no matter what. Shining light into any darkness, loving it all anyway. Very good. And now to Katrina, filling Katrina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing exactly as she is. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Katrina and fill her childhood with that same light, that energy, that love, and especially the 11-year-old Katrina. Fill that memory, the 11-year-old Katrina, with that light, that energy shining out from her, protecting her, and filling everyone else in that memory with the same light, the energy, the love, shining light into any darkness, loving it all anyway, no matter what. Very good. And now to Carrie, feel Carrie with that same light, that energy, that love, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head, out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. And now in particular, Carrie's tailbone, which is hurting. Send the light or energy to that. Love Carrie's tailbone just for existing. Even if it doesn't change, exactly as it is, shining the light into the darkness. Loving it all anyway. And back to Lisa for a moment, filling Lisa with that light, that energy, that love, and allowing that to overflow from Lisa to financial love at a planetary level. Fill all of that. Whether it improves or not, no matter what, love it all anyway. The whole planet's finances. Very good. And now to Cheryl. Fill Cheryl with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl just for existing. Now allow that light or energy to overflow from Cheryl and fill her son, who's been struggling since his dad died. Fill him with that same light, that energy, from the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips. Love Cheryl's son exactly as he is. Whether he continues to struggle or not, love him exactly as he is. Love it all anyway. Pure, unconditional love. Very good. And now to Caro. Fill Caro with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Caro just for existing. And allowing that light or energy to overflow from Caro and fill whatever the issues are with the car insurance, the accident she had, fill all of that with light and energy, shining the light into any darkness, loving it all anyway. And imagine that Caro's car insurance does cost more, and love that. Fill that with that light, that energy, shining that light into darkness, loving it all exactly as it is, no matter what. That's your power. Feel the strength of that. Very, very good. And then to the person who said earlier that they're thinking, they think a lot, they think overthinker. So send love to that person from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love her just for existing. And then love the overthinking. Shine that light, that energy into the overthinking. Whatever that is, whatever causes it, wherever it comes from, love it all anyway. exactly as it is, whether it changes or not, shining that light into the darkness. Very good job. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from you and fill everyone else on this call, everyone who's not on camera. Fill them with that same light, that energy. Love each one just for existing. From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, fill them with that light, that energy, exactly as they are. Very good. And now fill everyone who's watching this recording with that same light, that energy, that love. From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, love them just for existing. Good job. And now think of yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing, however you'll be feeling, whatever you'll be experiencing, fill that version of you with that same light, that energy, no matter what. Love that version of you just for existing, no matter what happens. And now expand your heart more to receive the love. So I'm sending you that light, that energy, that love, loving you just for existing, no matter what. And allow yourself to feel that power and to receive the love. Leveling up your own ability to love yourself exactly as you are. Very good job. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And any questions or comments before we finish? How's everyone doing? You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome, love. All right. So, of course, from now until tomorrow, keep practicing, keep aiming your power at everything and everyone. And in addition to that, I want to give you a little extra thing, which is to check back. So we're always looking where we want to be, where we wish we could be, where we want to get to, and the fact that we're here, we're not there yet. But I want you to also look back a little bit and see where you were, and see where you are now compared to where you used to be, whenever that is, whether that was last week or months ago or years ago. Just have a look back and see and acknowledge how far you've come from wherever you were before, and give yourself that gift. And someone says, thanks, Steve. Had a bad day yesterday. So glad to pop in. Couldn't do any self-care at all. Okay, so I hope this has helped, and I'm sending extra to you right now. All right, and everybody send a little extra love, light, and energy, that unconditional love, to the person who's just put in the chat. Love them exactly as they are. And to that person, open your heart and receive that love, that light from all of us. Very good. All right. And so continue to practice, continue to reach out for help. Steve?
Yeah, just for those people who can't see it, I will put a link, the link to the Neville Goddard stuff that I found. I just found a quick, there's literally hundreds of stuff, links out there that you could access. But I'll put that link in the show notes of today's video.
Yes, and actually, Steve, that's such a great comment that you put there. I want to read it out for those who are watching the recording, so can't see the chat. So in addition to the link to Neville, Steve has put, remember that whenever listening, oops, it just jumped. Remember that whenever listening to or studying any instructor or author or teacher, including us, make sure that it's in alignment with your own truth, your own inner truth. So learn to follow your own intuition of knowing your inner truth. And that's a great point to make. And take what, what is in alignment with you and what's relevant to you, and leave the rest. Someone says, very good. Thank you so much, everyone. Lots of love. I will be sending everyone, Lisa says, I'll be sending everyone love throughout the day. Thank you, Lisa, and the same to you. All right, everybody. So have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Lots of love to all of you. Bye-bye now.